Welcome back to another episode of Non-Reader Reacts. That's right, we're going to dive into episode 2 of the Wheel of Time with our non-readers who are giving us their responses. First, we have Lady Catherine. Say hi. Yay! And we have G Mama, and they are both giving us their time graciously, and we thank you guys so much.
Yeah, so we watched episode 2. It is called Shadows Waiting. Lady Catherine, why don't you start us off? Give us your overall impression of it, and we'll just go from there.
Overall impression is it explained a lot for the first one, because the first one left me hanging a little bit, but it brings up more questions. But I enjoyed it. I really did. I am anxious to see what happens to the ring lady.
The ring lady? The Ashanti girl.
Ashanti girl, yes. And if she can't heal herself, if they can get someone or someone, you know. And then the ending was pretty good. So what did you think, Grace?
Well, the ending, like, you were right. I know she's not dead. I know she's not dead. No. Or like Cassie was probably going, I seriously was. Yes. Wow.
Nynaeve lives. So Cassie did predict that in the last episode. She was right. Nynaeve did survive.
Yeah, I like the way the protector couldn't find someone creeping up behind him.
Yeah.
Land.
That's what I thought too. I'm like, he's supposed to like be all protecting her, and she appears with a knife to his throat. I really liked it as well, and it kind of, again, just that progression and answering some of those questions of, like Cassie just said, answering some questions, but then putting a whole bunch more out there too, and introducing a whole lot new words, no new characters, but new words and new places. And I loved that song about Manethrin. I loved the song. Number one, it was kind of fun hearing them sing, and then the story of that too. And then we heard it kind of come up again when they were in the bad place, the evil shadow place. But I liked it. I love the opening sequence.
I made sure I watched it. Now, does that mean that each one of the colors of the ring?
I was wondering that same thing, because they're definitely all the weaving and all the embroidery and people that I'm wondering if we're going to meet them or if we have met them. But I loved it. It was it wasn't in the first episode, so when it opened with it, I was quite intrigued. I'll be interested to see if that opening changes at all. Because, like, again, kind of Game of Thrones, right? Sometimes it would change, like, the places that were going to be talked about in that particular episode. Some things were the same, so I was kind of wondering that too. If we'll see different people pop up, and if it will alter with each episode.
I have to make sure I don't skip it then. Yeah.
Let's talk about those white cloaks. It starts off right off the bat with a cold open that has a black man in a white outfit who apparently is talking to a woman tied to a stake where her hands have been cut off.
Gross.
He takes a ring. He eats some weird bird thing. And his own blood's dripping out of his mouth. And then he sits there and drinks while she is consumed by fire.
And an amazing shot when he takes the drink and sets that goblet down, that silver goblet, and you see the reflection of the woman, an Aes Sedai, clearly, I think, because the rings, like Cassie was saying, and the blood on the goblet. It was just
fingerprint.
That shot. I'm like, oh, that's beautiful.
Yep.
Cinematography.
Horrendously beautiful.
Exactly. Kind of creepy, but just how it was all put together.
And then we could figure out the white people from the gold or the silver, because the silver were the questioners and the gold, I guess, are the warriors.
Right, that thing on their sholdder?
Yeah.
That big old thing.
Yeah, the ones who went off on a different direction to go inquisitors or questioners or whatever they were called. Yeah, and then the others, you're to fight, and those are the ones with the gold. So then we'll know, just because they're in white, what they're going for.
Right.
And he jingles that ring of rings, his whole ring thing. Ching, ching, ching. He's like, oh yeah, the questioner wants to talk to you.
He doesn't even have to say anything.
So,
like evil incarnate, but
Like a bag of bones. Yeah.
yeah. And I think they all seem to be bad guys, right? The white cloaks. I mean, trying to say that they're doing good, but I don't think they are. But the questioners really thirst for blood.
Yeah, but then he sent her to get help. And
No, I'm talking. That was the other guy, but the questioner wasn't at all. Wasn't at all.
Well, we hear the phrase "the white cloaks" again from Master Hightower, the guy who brings them across on the ferry. While they're pulling across, all the Trollocs run up, and he's like, "Well, my son's coming. I gotta go." And they're like, "Well, sorry, can't let that happen." And she creates a whirlpool, and he says, "The white cloaks are right.
Right?
They're all witches." And then jumps in and dies.
But then she blamed it on him anyways. She didn't kill him. He killed himself.
There is a moral ambiguity there. Could she have saved him, or did she just not try?
Yeah, I bought her explanation that like she needs to save herself and save her warder. That's part of that's the what'd she say? I mean, those are one of the oaths that the power that they're bound by the power to do. Like she can't break it if she tried. So if the guy was determined to go back across, her only solution was to save herself and her warder.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah, right on. But it does show that there is some, I guess, justification to not trust Aes Sedai. It seems like there's an entire organization that is devoted to trying. What are the White Cloaks in your guys' eyes?
The rebel forces, or the Imperial, or like the white stormtroopers.
To me, they were like the witch hunters, you know, kind of the sort of holier than thou, or those that just don't trust. So, you know, you look back at like Salem, Massachusetts, and anyone who could do anything that didn't seem quite right or normal, they just didn't trust them. And so it's a lack of trust, and so they're out hunting them down because they don't want them around. So to me, they're these like kind of fundamentalist, if you will.
The gang are all traveling, and they seem to have a group dream regarding bats. One where Rand pulls a bat out of his face.
Seriously, yeah.
Throat. That was disgusting.
He wakes up. There is a dead bat. There's several dead bats. Everyone had different dreams. One was that their backs were just snapping in the air and they were falling. Yeah,
this weird like collective conscious where they had it similar but different. But I think they also, in addition to the bats, they mentioned, so Rand saw a person, right? A man with the ember eyes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the other guy saw him too.
I know Perrin, I think they all saw that too.
Yeah.
So yeah,
is that just evil incarnate?
I don't know yet if it's, I think Rand was trying to blame Moraine that she's doing it. I don't think so. I think there's other forces at work, whether it's dark magic or something else.
Okay.
Maybe it's where they are. I don't know where they're at.
And I wonder if the guy has the scratches. Is that poison also? And is that actually like a scent that's leading them to find them? Because she has it and he has it. But I think each one of them are starting to show their own powers, like he with the wolves.
Yeah.
And then she with the little light in the necklace.
Stone.
And then, so I think each one of them are going to start to show their own powers or their own ability, unless they don't have them. But I think they all are going to wind up with something.
Yeah. Well, yeah. And so that might be some of that dream. Yeah, there's obviously some sort of magic or powers at work in this world. And so whether it's all of that coming together in their dreams. But yeah, the Perrin's leg. So I think when we were talking about the first episode, I talked about the fact that he had this secret, right? That he accidentally killed his wife. And he's got this huge gash on his leg, and he's keeping that a secret too. He's not telling anybody. He's like hiding it. He didn't ask anybody for help. So there's something with him and secrets. And maybe the wolves are part of that or become part of that too. I don't know if that wolf like healed him by licking his...
That wolf's name was Neosporin, Grace.
Oh, then clearly he did. It was like a phoenix tears or
yeah, Harry Potter. Go, keep going.
Wolf saliva.
Yeah, I don't know, but yeah, he does keep a lot of secrets, and I wonder what else he's keeping. Mm-hmm. And I noticed one thing that was just stood out was the way that they store their knives or their swords. They all seem to be in this kind of big crate box thing.
Boxes.
Yeah.
Boxes.
Gorgeous, but they seem to, whenever you see those boxes, it was like, oh, there's going to be a knife or a sword.
Weapon!
In there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Treasure!
Yeah, now I don't know if that is going to be evil or that's just a knife. I don't know. I don't know if that unleashed the shadow.
Right.
It seemed like he opened that.
Well, I said the same thing. Like as soon as he took it, then the shadow started, and Lan said, "Don't touch anything. Don't do anything." So
yeah,
there certainly may have been something there.
Yeah, eat your own food. Don't touch anything, and of course, you're going to touch anything.
I tried not to think of anything, but I thought of the Stay Puft Marshmallow Man.
Out of everything, you had to think of that.
Well, as soon as he said, he's like, "Don't touch anything, don't do anything," Rand's all right, I'm gonna go for a walk. He's like took off. I'm like,
right, I would have just stayed in that tiny circle. When they're like, this is the most dangerous place in the world.
I know. He just told the story about how
that's so cool.
Nothing lives there. He's like, okay, good to know. I'm gonna go check things out.
I'm gonna go look for a Pokemon with my Pokemon Go. Oh, geocaching. He does his King of the World. And that city looks awesome.
Oh,
It
gorgeous.
It looks awesome, but it is really, it was very striking as they were walking through, and I felt very claustrophobic. Mm-hmm. They were walking down the streets and all of them, and it's just these, huge walls, and no sun. And I don't know if the weather changed when they got there or if the weather is different there, but it was like those weird gray clouds and
just blue light. Blue lighting everywhere.
It was cool and these beautiful, but very claustrophobic and cold, right? All hard, all concrete.
It looked like the shame. But when they looked out, they could see such beauty outside, when they were standing there at the ledge, let's say. And how did they find the ledge outside of a window and the other side you jump off and there's no ledge?
They went totally different directions. Remember?
I know, but
in the city, they went totally different directions. So
had they not jumped out, they didn't jump out very far.
They did not jump out very far.
No, we said that when they landed, they were right next to the wall. I'm like, ooh, danger.
That's close.
So, but before, and Dan, I don't know if you have specific questions, but one thing that I noticed too, so maybe kind of back to the fact that Lan didn't hear Nynaeve when they were resting again. So back to when they were traveling before they got to the Shadow Evil City. They were resting and Egwene popped up. She heard something, right? So she can hear the wind. So she heard something and popped up and saw the fade. And she's the one that kind of woke everyone up and got them to go.
Okay, so you attribute that to her ability to listen to the wind. Awesome.
I kind of did. She woke up with a start, right? She didn't just kind of
was there like a sound?
Got the sword too. He woke up like he was called.
What's that?
The one who found the knife and started the shadow. Wasn't he asleep and woke up and?
Oh, at that same time?
No. In the shadow place. But he was called from his sleep.
Oh, to go get that dagger.
Yeah, there was horses were making noise. And ostensibly he was going to check on the horse, and then he just kind of started wandering
around.
But to your point, yeah, it could have been certainly a calling as well.
Yeah. So Ryan, I did equate that to her hearing the wind and whatever her power is that she heard that before anyone else did.
Beautiful. Love that.
Very cool. We did touch on the song. The backstory of the song was essentially the Two Rivers was this magnificent place. They fought in the Trolloc Wars, they were called, the Dave Grohlic Wars. They were promised help from the very city that they went to. It was called Eridal at that time, and then it changed to Shadow Lagos or something. And Manetheren was betrayed. They were promised help and they weren't. And so the weep for Manetheren includes that the queen who could channel pulled in more than she could handle and destroyed all the Dave Grohlics, but also
herself.
Destroyed herself in the process. Yeah. But the people did not move. They rebuilt. They remember, and the old blood is strong.
Well, and it was I think she said like the children and caregivers, right? So I figured too, it was the people that were kind of hiding out in the woods. So it wasn't, I mean, the city was destroyed, but then they rebuilt it with the young
who
the young
remained,
ones.
yeah. The ones that didn't go to fight, because when they were released, some of them went to go fight with their family and they were then lost.
Yeah. So I really liked that just again kind of showing these kids-ish, from that all grew up together and you imagine these are the songs that you learn, sitting around the fire or whatever, and that they all knew it, all sang it, and then none of them knew the story behind it.
Right. Maureen's like, you guys know what that story's about? And they're like, nah.
You know what I mean,
like,
right?
Yeah.
It's kind of a big deal.
Let me be a Morenosauri and share.
Yeah. So I quite like that.
It goes like bring around the posies or rosies and all that stuff.
That's about the
London Bridge and all that stuff. That we.
I was just singing "Rockabye Baby," and I'm not going to tell you why. And that's fucked up.
Yeah, they're all fucked up.
Rockabye Baby, the fucking baby falls from a tree.
Hold on.
The whole thing.
Terrifying.
The whole thing.
So, Brother Dan, you just mentioned something and it kind of struck me too. So they mentioned the Trolloc Wars 2 or 3 times in this episode too. So kind of this thing where I'm like, okay, I think we're going to learn more about these Trolloc Wars, and clearly they were a big freaking deal. Clearly there's something that was like life-changing. I don't know if that's when the world broke kind of the first time with the first dragon, or if it's just something different, but I imagine we're going to learn more about the Trolloc Wars. There's a couple big things.
In fact,
tell me about the shadow and this city. What do you think the shadow is?
It's like the nothing from the Never-Ending Story, but worse.
yes.
I mean, I don't know what's worse than the nothing, because that actually made everything disappear as well. But
it did. It made the horse.
And that's what it did. The horse kind of all fall apart.
Turned to sand.
What's that?
It turned to sand, I think.
Yeah.
The horse did.
Yeah. It did. So I don't know what it is, except that just in that story that Lan described what happened, nobody knew what happened to all the people there, but they didn't help anyone, right? They closed themselves off. The whole world was having issues, and they went inside themselves, and they're like, kind of forget everybody. We're just going to do this. And that evil grew from within. And so I think that whether that was created by the evil and then now just takes anything that tries to live there, like, right, they said no insects, no birds, no living things. There was not a single plant, nothing there. So I think if that's what was created from all that hate being together, that's what it is, it's hate. It's also like the demons in Ghost. Remember, like in Ghost, when the guy died and all those demons come and like take him?
Oh yeah. And then he gets pulled back into the.
Yeah. Freaky. Those are freaky. Okay. Those used to actually.
Dad, you just scared me for a second.
So I was thinking that since they're using light, is he fighting them off?
Fuck you. All right.
You're Superman. That was like kryptonite attack.
Since they're using light as like a power and a way to do things, like she uses the light to fight the evil and this and that, and shadow is the total absence of light, that light and life can go together.
But shadow and equals death.
Yeah, the absence of light.
I like it. So the group gets all split up.
Yeah.
We have 3 groups now. We have Lan and Moraine, who eventually gets joined by Nynaeve. We have Egwene and Perrin running through like windy tundras. We have Matt and Rand, who are like boulder hopping like hobbits.
Aren't they on a
No, they're on log.
Well, no, they get across. They leave, and then they're all split up.
They're all
ostensibly going east towards Tarvalon. As Rand says, all roads lead to Tarvalon. Matt says that's not how roads work.
Matt's funny.
Yeah. Yeah, as long as she's throwing fire, I'm staying with her.
Yeah.
But me lady throws fireballs, so.
Yeah.
Until she doesn't need us anymore, she'll protect us. So we're here with her.
And his comments after Lan's whole story about like the shadow evil city, he's all, a couple things. I got a couple things for there.
Yeah.
1, you've said more words than your whole life just now. And 2, what the hell? What the hell?
Why?
Perfect.
And Moraine's like, you've killed us all. He's like, well, thanks, babe. I had to make a decision here. You weren't much help.
You slept through
You weren't
it.
helping.
Yeah, a little support here. I got a situation.
Yeah.
Try dealing with teenagers.
I sort of agree with Maureen. It didn't seem like a good decision. I mean, it got him away from the Trollocs, but it was...
It was great, too. They're like, oh, yeah, the Trollocs won't go in there. Let's just slowly go inside.
If they know it's dangerous, but we'll go.
And the Trollocs are like, God, I wish I could just eat them.
Yeah, like casually. They just casually walked in. They didn't like bolt in the doors.
Yeah, there was no urgency.
And could they have just gone through?
Just to the other side, yeah.
I mean, is there
why do they have
just,
to stay?
Yeah.
They cut
I know she was
through.
sick and
They have to
everything,
go all the way around the city.
It's a big city. I mean, it's like cutting through Boston or New York or something. You gotta.
Well, it's harder to go around Boston.
Yeah.
It's longer to go around than through.
It's way longer. You're right.
But I mean, it's a big
straight lines,
rock.
right? Straight lines.
Can we talk about the fact that Moraine had this? Right, she got stabbed. Right, so we're like, oh yeah, right, she got stabbed, and then she seemed fine, and then when the white cloak like touched her, we see that she's got this huge wound still, and then all of a sudden she's like gonna die from it, but it seemed like she was fine for a few days, and then all of a sudden she's dying. So
Seemed fine after she got it pulled out, because she all of a sudden was throwing rocks at.
yeah, and even when they're like running, they're like running onto the ferry. They're I don't know. Seemed like she was all right for a couple days, and all of a sudden, and so I don't know if it's the poison getting to her, if it's a slow working poison, or I mean, it wasn't that slow on Tam.
Dan was weeded like in the first 5 minutes. He's like, just leave me.
I mean, maybe she's Aes Sedai, so it takes longer to get to her. I don't know, but that was, I mean, it was fine, but I was like, she was fine. Now she's gonna die.
Well, I would, if you watch this episode again, I would definitely try and look at her pallor when she's doing the Manetheren speech.
I did notice that. I did notice that she was quite pale.
Yeah,
so
I noticed it more after the other girl mentioned it. Oh, look at, she's getting so pale. She's taking care of us, isn't that? And so then I started going, was she pale? You know?
Yeah, she's pale. Yeah,
She looks British. They're all pale.
But yeah, she went from like functional to non-functional like real fast.
Right.
Yeah. So we have everyone split up now. Perrin and Egwene are dealing with wolves.
You hear that the sound of wolves seems kind of constant.
But can't he control them?
I don't know.
I thought he could.
Well, because when they came, they came upon him, and then one walked up to him and like licked his wound, and then they kind of like nodded at him. They're like, okay, you're good, and then they ran away. So I don't know if that's them controlling him or if they just have like a...
Is his leg all healed?
I don't know. He hasn't shown that it was bothering him, and he ran all through the shadow place and jumped into the water.
Yeah.
Getting badly infected in that water.
Yeah, it's scummy.
Yeah. No, I don't think the wolves healed it. I think it's probably still gross. But does he have the same kind of poison as everyone else did? Is he got that?
It seemed like, because when he did it, it seemed like a scratch, or there were like a couple marks, right?
Yeah.
So it seemed like a big scratch. It wasn't like an axe, or maybe it was teeth. I don't know. I don't know what Trollic bites look like or whatever, but it seemed to me like it was kind of a big scratch. But
yeah, but I don't think anything.
Good question. I don't know where the poison comes from.
Right.
But he doesn't seem to be having the same effect that Tam or Maureen had.
Yeah. Well, Maureen didn't have anything for a long time, so.
Right. Yeah, maybe it's he's got a slow acting one too.
Yeah, theirs is in their chest, his is in his leg, so it's farther from the heart.
From the heart.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm rotting, but it's from the bottom up.
Kind of didn't talk about was I don't think we did the fact that Maureen woke up Egwene and went and kind of talked to her about the oath, right? That the Aes Sedai take, because she was really concerned that she killed that guy. So we kind of talked about that a little bit, but she talked about the oath.
Yeah, that was on the horse when she rode up next to her. How could you have done that? Because you said.
Right, yeah. So, but before that, when she said there's these 3 oaths, and Egwene said you can't lie, and she's like, that's not it. You need to use the words very specifically. Words matter. That struck me when she said words matter. So I'm thinking I probably need to listen to her a bit more carefully.
Yeah, well, the quote is, Ace and I will tell you the truth, but it's not always the truth that you are listening for.
Right, they can tell no word that is untrue.
No word that is untrue. Yeah, exactly. And then the weapon and whatever it was. So there's the 3 oaths. And then she showed her. So she showed her that stone, and she felt the power.
Do you think she's doing that because she's female and not with any of the other ones? Because they want only to give it to women? That they're not saying, let's check this out on Rand, or let's check this out on... Just because she's a female, they'll more inclined to think that she's got the power?
I think so. And I think because she's, again, this whole wind thing, right, that they've talked about, that it's like, okay, well, what is that? It's sort of, yes, there's a power there. So I think it's that combined with the fact that she's a woman. And that's what.
Now, in that scene, Moraine looks at Egwene and says, you don't listen to the wind listens to you.
Oh, yeah, she did say that. I think that's Maureen telling her that she's got this power, that she can touch the what is it? The one, it's the one power. I mean, I think that's her telling her, like, this, there's more to you than what you guys think. In this kind of like, in the 2 rivers, you think it's this one thing. I'm telling you, it's there's a lot more to that, and it's you actually with the power, not the other way around.
And what does it say about the power?
The power of the element.
It's like an elemental magic.
Yeah, wind, fire, water.
But to answer that question, what does it say about the power that?
If they've decided that she has it, why are they keeping the other 3 around? Or maybe they haven't.
That's a good question, but let Grace answer that first question. Let's get back to that question, Kaz.
Yeah. So I mean, I don't know what it says about the power, except, I mean, I like the thinking of these different elements that are there. I mean, I feel like it is something that women have. And that it's okay when women have it, right? When the men have it, it's dangerous. We learned that from that kind of first guy. They were saying it's filthy, you know. And I think she didn't say that in a way of like being cocky. I think she said that in a way of like, it's dangerous. So, but I'm not sure yet how to completely answer that. But I was gonna answer, or at least comment on what Cassie said is. It's not the power is something that women have. It's not the same thing as as what they're looking for, the Dragon Reborn. So it's not. So a bunch of women have this power, but they're still looking for.
Oh, okay. So
Dragon
this has
Reborn
nothing to do with that.
Different. I mean,
it's more like she's connected to the ring women than.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. That doesn't necessarily. I mean, it can mean that she is or isn't. I think that also the fulfillment of the prophecy. But there's I don't know. I was going to say a bunch of people with this power. I don't know how many people actually have the power, but they refer to the sisters and enough of the Aes Sedai, and then even a couple dudes who've had it too. So,
well, is that the same power that would control that little stone or necklace?
Yeah.
And change the color and everything? Because that's what I was thinking. Is that's the power. That's not necessarily whatever the prophecy. Because we don't really know what that means to be the Dragon Reborn. No, and that isn't.
I don't think have they really talked about what that means to be the Dragon Reborn? It's somebody who's supposed to save the world.
There was talk. The villagers themselves were talking a little bit and saying, "Oh, it says that he broke the world, but he's supposed to come back and save the world." And Matt says, "Well, I heard he had had wings.
Right.
Looking at you lot, there ain't no feather on you." And then Moraine walks up and she says something interesting. She says, "Forget whatever you've heard. The dragon will be none of those and all of those. Go back to sleep."
Yeah.
Lights out.
Yeah, guys.
Right. Yeah. But and all of that. But it doesn't. What we don't know necessarily is what all this means. What is she looking for? How is she going to know when it's the Dragon Reborn or not? I don't know that we quite know what we're looking for.
Do you think that this not knowing is a good thing or a bad thing? And are you finding this to be like a fun thing to puzzle out? Or if you are the casual watcher, are you just being like throwing your hands up saying, I don't know what the F is happening?
It's kind of a little irritating, but it is intriguing. It is a little like, okay, come on, give me a little hint. But it is intriguing to continue it, but it is a little irritating to go, okay, so what? Huh? Because there is a lot of that still. And it probably will be for a while. Is it irritating to you, the questioning of things? Or
No, it's not. Just because I figure I just have to have a little patience. And I mean, none of the shows we watch kind of give it all away in the beginning. They've introduced this thing, and I'm like, okay, so we're gonna learn a little bit more about this thing throughout as we go forward, and it's probably going to take a while. I mean, Ross and Rachel didn't get together for a number of seasons.
They were on a break.
That's the best example I've ever heard, Grace.
Will they? Won't they? Will they? Won't? I mean, so yeah, I'm not frustrated by it. I'm just learning a little bit more with each episode.
So let's start off the Twitter section. Another turning of Betty asks. They say, really curious who non-readers think is the Dragon Reborn.
No idea.
Catherine,
yeah. Lady Catherine already had a theory.
Yeah, I think it's the 5 of them.
All 5. Ooh. Oh, because of them. Oh, I love it.
I think they're all combined.
they're gonna do like a whole Voltron thing where one's like an arm, one's a leg, and they just all combine into one big dragon.
Or like the Wonder Twins activate.
Yeah. Form of a dragon, shape of water dragon.
Matt's like, why do I gotta be the tail?
Oh, there's all the elements, right? You got wind and earth and fire and water and
lava, the lava element. All right,
lava.
So actually, let's dub this forever the another turning of Betty's question, because I believe that every episode we're going to ask you, who do you think is the Dragon Reborn, until it becomes clear to us.
Okay.
All right. So Troy Sykar asks,
let's go, Troy.
What? Yep. Troy. What stands out as unique about Wheel of Time from other fantasy you've watched or read?
I'll start by I find similarities. So my other fantasy that I've both watched and read some of, right, Game of Thrones and Harry Potter. I think even when we were watching it, I'm like, oh, the Fade is like a Dementor to me.
Okay.
So I'm finding similarity in the world. We even kind of, I think, talked about this last time of it being a little overwhelming at first because everything is new. Everything is something that was created. So we don't necessarily know it. So we need to learn and then kind of remember, okay, who are they? What are they? And I was thinking about this even as I watched it. And again, maybe it's because Harry Potter was more written for kids. The way they got through it a little bit to make it easier is they brought in somebody who was a normal person, call him Muggle, whatever. And so he was learning all of the magic and all of the words. So when he would see a Dementor, they would explain, oh, well, they suck your soul. Here's what they do. And they guard this prison. So they explained it, which I liked because I'm probably not as in-depth or intense of a reader or watcher. This is not explaining it. This is introducing it. And I need to wait and learn or pause and ask my husband what they're talking about.
Well, we did that with Game of Thrones a bit. If there was an especially dense scene, I would pause and just say, G Mama, do you have any questions?
Let me explain.
And then I go, okay, all right, we're clear. And then just play.
I don't see any similarity because I don't know. I've watched Game of Thrones so many times that I can't remember like the beginning of watching it. So
what it felt like.
You don't remember not knowing?
Right. Even like The Witcher and things. I'm trying to think of stuff. This is just, you have to look so hard for clues. And I don't know if I'm just not enjoying the whole thing or I'm just looking for clues.
Well, well, and we put you in a weird spot where we're like, all right, we're going to talk about these things in depth. And so maybe instead of you just enjoying it, you're like, all right, so that person, I got to remember that person. I mean, it's possible that we are distorting your viewing pleasure as well. And I apologize if that's the case.
Oh, no, I watched it like twice.
I recommend just watching it for fun the first time and then watching it for content the next time. It's really it's up to the Amazon and the showrunners to keep you guys along the journey, like motivated. Right. Why is this happening? You want to know why. You want to solve these puzzles, and it's up to them to convince you. And
sorry, Ryan. I was thinking that a lot as well because again, being adjacent to you guys and the world that knows everything and is going to watch it no matter what. And I think Game of Thrones was like that too. There were people who were absolutely going to watch it no matter what. But there was a whole audience that they got, and that's what Amazon is looking for. The whole audience that they don't have yet. And they need to get them and keep them without somebody going, oh, I know what's coming up next. Mm-hmm. We need to want to know, and so they probably have to answer some things, or at least give some answers along the way sooner than maybe in a 1,200 page book.
Well, since they dropped 3, hopefully there'll be some more answers after the 3rd one, but still more questions, but a clearer sight after the 3rd one, let's say.
Because now people are waiting, right? Like they got to wait a whole week. What did you give them that's going to make them wait that week and anticipate coming back?
Right. So I mean, to me, even the waiting after, if they dropped only 2 and we saw Nynaeve with the knife, it's like, oh, holy shit. Okay, now what? What's happening there? How'd she get away? What'd she do? What was that? I want to know that.
Let me ask real fast. We didn't touch on this. Matt sat down with Perrin and gave him his dagger. Matt is a destitute guy. He does not have very many possessions. And yet he said, you should have this. Layla made it. It's not a weapon. It's a tool. And she probably wants you to have it. And Perrin is still appropriately grieving. You see a tear run down a face that has not seen its first tear, more or less. It just runs. It didn't It just tore down his face. And then he goes and finds a dagger. Do you think that, first of all, let's talk about their relationship just a tiny bit.
Their relationship.
Perrin Perrin and Matt seem pretty close.
Very close, I think.
And I like the way he reassured him that his sisters were taken care of.
Yes.
That all these people were going to, don't worry, you did not abandon them because we know the situation and all these people at home are going to help them.
Rand and Perrin gave him some coin in the first episode. They Perrin reassures Matt in the second. They know how important his sisters are to him.
Yeah, and likewise, and in this kind of gifting of the knife, obviously Matt knows what he just lost in his wife. When in the first episode, when Perrin brought her out to where all the dead were, and Matt just kind of put his arm on his shoulder. It was very touching. It was a really brotherly, touching kind of move. So I am really enjoying their deep friendship that is beyond just we're gonna have some beers together. They really care for each other.
Right. Rand watched Perrin. Matt said Perrin, and Rand turned and looked and saw, but didn't stand up and go over there. Matt did, sat beside him and put his hand on his shoulder to help him out.
Yeah,
I'm not going to fault Randy boy. He's got his dad dying in a litter. Come on.
Yeah,
Rand also didn't live in town, so he was from the sheep farm, so he wasn't constantly day to day together. Like they were probably best friends.
Yeah, he might not know the sisters or the parents, right? Because that parent said that, like, oh, my parents, your parents. Like, it does seem like maybe they were closer, maybe in proximity help with that. But
yeah.
I really am enjoying watching their friendship, and now they're split apart, right? So as you had kind of said, they're
and when they were split, Egwin and Perrin were each yelling out for the one they want to be with. Egwin yelling Rand's name and Perrin yelling Matt.
Yeah.
Oh, good point.
I didn't even think about that. Yeah, that is really cool. But then
Any other questions? Oh, go ahead. No, please.
With all of the people that are chasing them, shouldn't you not be yelling?
Yeah.
Hey guys.
I'm right here. Come get me.
Yep.
Hey, Army. I hear something over there.
It's echoing. Favorite character of episode 2?
Favorite is Matt.
Okay.
I like Matt too.
What
I'm
was
not
your
sure about him picking up this new dagger, but I like Matt.
Yeah.
What was your favorite scene?
An odd favorite scene, but and I wouldn't call it a scene. It's a shot, and it was the one that I described, where the very beginning, where the white cloak questioner set down his goblet, and it was just so striking and beautiful. I mean, super creepy in all the ways, but just that shot. So it's not a scene, but
I actually like the bat. That whole sort of thing. That was kind of cool. That person came to all of them and they all had different visions of the bats. I thought that was kind of cool.
Ryan, what was your favorite scene?
Matt giving Perrin his wife's work, his little knife.
Yeah. I would pick either that or the scene where Moraine finagles their way out of the white cloaks, and then Egwin calls her on it later saying, "You lied." And she's like, "Nah, I didn't."
And I could have sworn you're going to say this song.
I was actually.
You love a 4-part harmony.
I picked the goblet as a shot, but my favorite scene was the song.
That's good. That's a good one. That really is.
Excellent. All right. And what would you give an overall score out of 10?
I think I'm still at a good solid 7.
Okay.
I like it. I'm coming back for more.
She's hard to please, Ryan. A 7 is great.
Is that like a 7.9? If we had decimals, would it be like a 7 point? It's solid. I was
honestly, I was thinking like a 7.5.
Okay.
Leading the witness, but I'll allow it.
I hear you. And
I would also say 7, and I think that it's brought up the last one at least a point.
Oh, so we're addendum.
A 13 total, and Grace has a 14.5 total.
All right. Super fun, guys. So we're going to return shortly with episode 3, and we're going to be following the entire series. Thank you, too, for offering up your time. Your insights are amazing, and I do believe you're going to enjoy our chat comments. We have the kindest, most funny and engaged community that work with us. So everyone who's been watching, thank you so much. Please give our channel a like and subscribe.
Thank you to Twitter for the questions.
Oh, and Twitter handle LAN_buns is now live. G-Mom has created land buns on Twitter, so go ahead and follow them as well.
Because we all appreciated land buns.
Everyone, thank you for watching to the end of the video. If you want to support this channel, just give us a like and subscribe. If you want to support our sponsor, Village Mattress, his information is in the description of this video. He will give you 30 to 50% off any bedding and furniture that you wish. He's a great guy. He's a Wheel of Time fan. Go check him out. G-Mama has a Twitter.
@land_buns.
@land_bun. And Lady Catherine, promote your Instagram, Cass.
It's just things that I enjoyed and I nailed, and I thought they're pretty cool. So K nailed it. KNAILDIT.
And we'll see you next episode. Until then, run for your lives, because this is the way of the leaf.